Hare Krishna and good morning. Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam and attentive chanting class. Nice to have your association. We'll make a start. So we start on time, then we can finish on time as well. And others can join a bit later on. That's fine. So let's do a quick prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Okay, so today we talk about Maharaja Prthu, who met the four Kumaras. We all know the four Kumaras, the sons of Lord Brahma, and they stayed as little children all their life because they didn't want to get entangled in family life and things like that. So they stayed as little 5-year-old children. So this was during the reign of Maharaja Prthu, and he was the son of King Vena. And King Vena was also a very popular king. That's another story we can go through some other time. And everything on the surface of the earth was sinless at the time. And therefore the Kumars, or the Kumaras as we say, Sanak, Sanandan, Sanatan, and Sanat, Kumar, the four mind-born sons of Lord Brahma, they decided to come and give a visit to the king. And ordinarily, they don't go to any planet which is sinful. But because there was a reason behind it, and the globe, as mentioned, was sinless at the time. So they came and met Maharaj Prithu. So seeing the four Kumars, Maharaj Prithu was greatly anxious to receive them. And therefore, the king, with all his officers, very hastily got up, as anxiously as the conditioned soul, whose senses are immediately attracted by the modes of material nature. So this is compared to somebody, see something they like, maybe food or something they hear, like we do. So it's compared to that he quickly jumped when he heard the Kumaras are here. So this is compared to how the conditioned soul is influenced by a particular mixture of the modes of material nature. As such, the conditioned soul is attracted to certain types of activity which he is forced to perform because he's completely under the influence of material nature. So everything we do, we are doing it according to the mode we are influenced by, whether it's ignorance or passion or goodness. We don't have any control over our emotions and our actions. We are, until we come to bhakti and follow the path of bhakti, we are controlled by different modes. As we see people around us, we see how they can, we can see who's in mode of passion, we can see who's in mode of ignorance, we can see who's in mode of goodness. They're just following the modes, they're looking through a screen and acting accordingly, right? So when you come to path of bhakti, then you're following the scriptures, not your own entanglement of the mode that you're in. So this is the example. So we are all running towards things. Those under the influence of mode of ignorance are running after alcohol and drugs. So people who are taking a lot of alcohol or drugs, you know that they are entangled in the mode of ignorance. And those under the influence of the mode of passion, running after money and materially improving their lives, day and night, 7 days a week, they will work trying to make money to get a better life, and that money will be left here end of the day, they will be gone and get another body, but everything will be left here, but they can't help it, it's in there ingrained that they have to earn a lot, they have to get better than other people, they have to have this, they have to have that. So that's when you entangled in the mode of passion. And that's what we are. And even in the mode of goodness, we're still running after knowledge, we're doing morning walks, doing breathing exercises. Okay, exercise is good, but if you overdo it or you just completely was thinking about these things, then it's not good. Okay, if you get infatuated by these things, then it's not good. So, like it says, we are like in a forest fire of conditioned life. the holy name, when we get the holy name, it makes us stop running and think about what we should be doing. Okay? We are like in a fire, just running, trying to run everywhere. So here Maharaj Prithu is compared to such a conditioned soul, not because he was a conditioned soul, but because he was so anxious to receive the Kumars, that it was as if without them he would have lost his life. It's like a druggie, alcohol, drinker. He has to have it, has to have his fix. So they're comparing to him like that. He's really anxious to meet them. Whereas the conditioned soul is attracted by the objects of sense gratification. For example, his eyes are attracted to see beautiful things, his ears are attracted to hear nice music, his nose is attracted to enjoy the aroma of nice flower, tongue is attracted to taste very nice foods. Similarly, all his other senses, his hands, legs, belly, genitals, mind, are susceptible to the attraction of the objects of enjoyment. That's what we're looking for, enjoyment, that he can't restrain himself. So Maharaj Prithu, in the same way, couldn't restrain himself from receiving the four Kumaras. I mean, in this instance, it's a good thing because this is spiritual. Who were bright by dint of their spiritual progress, and thus not only he himself but also his officers and associates all received the four Kumaras. He said, birds of a feather flock together. In this world, everyone is attracted by a person of the same category. A drunkard is attracted by two persons who are also drunkards. Similarly, a saintly person is attracted by other saintly persons. Maharaj Prithu was in the topmost position of spiritual advancement, and as such, he was attracted by the four Kumaras, who were of the same category. It is said, therefore, there are many known by his company. So Maharaj Prthu was very pious and a very exalted devotee. That's why he was happy to see other devotees as we should be. So any person upon whom the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are pleased can achieve anything which is very rare to obtain in this world as well as after death. Not only that, but one also receives the favor of the auspicious Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu, who accompany the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. So it's mentioned that the devotees are to the extreme love of Govinda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, always carry the Lord within their hearts. Okay, so when we meet the devotees and Brahmanas, they carry the Lord in their heart, and the Lord is already in the heart of everyone, but the Vaishnavas and Brahmanas actually perceive and seem always in ecstasy. Therefore, Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are carriers of Vishnu. Wherever they go, Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, or the devotees of Lord Vishnu are all carried with him. The four Kumaras are Brahmanas and they visited the place of Maharaj Prithu. Naturally, Lord Vishnu and his devotees were also present. So, how sweet is that? So, Maharaj Prithu offered his welcome to the four Kumars, addressing them as the best of the Brahmanas. He welcomed them, saying, from the beginning of your birth, you strictly observe the vows of celibacy. And although you experience in the path of liberation, you are keeping yourself just like small children. The specific importance of Kumaras is that they were Brahmanas or Brahmacharis living the life of celibacy from birth. They kept themselves as small children, about 4 or 5 years old, because by growing into youth, one's senses sometimes become disturbed and celibacy becomes difficult. So they were very clever from day one, that they knew what they wanted. The Kumaras therefore purposefully remain children because in a child's life, the senses are never disturbed by sense gratification or sex, things like that. So inviting saints to your home creates auspiciousness. And the Maharaj Prithu knew that. So, and then he also knew that you have to inquire. Just when you invite saints to your house, you get auspiciousness, and at the same time, we should inquire for them. That's give them respect. When you ask questions from an exalted devotee, you are actually giving them respect by asking. So this is another way of giving them respect, and you also receive respect from them. And after welcoming the brothers, Maharaj Prithu inquired from them. So Maharaj Prithu did just that. Maharaj Prithu inquired from the sages about persons entangled in this dangerous material existence because of their previous actions. Maharaja Prthu said, could like people who are entangled in the material existence, whose only aim is sense gratification, and there are a lot of people like that, can they ever be blessed with good fortune? So, because he's a king, he's thinking about everyone, his citizens. He says the people who are entangled, is there ever any chance that they'll be blessed with any good fortune, or will they be forever just going the, birth, death, old age, and disease cycle forever and ever, for eternity? Because problem is that grista life is inauspicious because gresta means consciousness for sense gratification. And as soon as there is sense gratification, one's position is always full of dangers. Because as we talked in the previous weeks, that, and we were asking Maharaj as well in one of the Sunday Sangha, that now actually it was last Sunday, that this sense gratification of Maya is like slow poison, he mentioned, or I also see it as like a lion or a lioness, when they're coming after the prey, very, very slowly, very, very slowly. And you only find out once, it's only pounced on you. And Maya is like that. It will come very, very step at, close to you very, very slowly. You don't even see it. You don't realize coming closer. And then just jumps on you. Then, oh my, then it's too late. See? So Maya is always ready to attack. Just looking for the opportunity when you can attack. So this material world is said to be padam padam yad vipadam na tesham. So dangers in every step. So we have to be very careful how we live our lives. Everyone in this material world is struggling hard for sense gratification. Clearing all these points, Maharaja Prthu inquired from the four Kumaras about the fallen conditioned souls who are rotting in this material world due to their past bad or inauspicious activities. Is there any possibility for the auspicious spiritual life? Only one who stops all activities for sense gratification is considered to be elevated. One becomes fallen by dint of his own past bad activities. Everyone is responsible for his fallen condition because of his own activities. And when activities are changed to devotional service, one's auspicious life begins. So we come in a certain mode, as we mentioned earlier, due to our past activities and our past karmas. Okay, so we might be born in a mode of ignorance. We have this tendency to take drugs and alcohol, or we might be born in a mode of passion that we just need to keep running. We attract so much by money, women, things like that. Or mode of ignorance, we just want to be lazy, just want to sleep, and take hard drugs, and we don't want to do anything. So a lot of that is to do with our previous life. We come with such mentality and body that's attracted to these things. But the point is that bhakti can be taken by anybody. It doesn't matter what mode you're in. Even if you're in mode of ignorance, you can still take up bhakti and go straight to goodness and pure goodness. This is the beauty of bhakti. So Sanat Kumar said, my dear King Prthu, I am very nicely questioned by you. Such questions are beneficial for all living entities, especially because they are raised by you, who are always thinking of the good of others. Although you know everything, you ask such questions because that is the behavior of saintly persons. Such intelligence is befitting your position. So Maharaj Prthu was well conversant in transcendental service and science, yet he presented himself before the Kumaras as one ignorant of it. Then that should be our attitude. We should pretend that we don't know anything and ask questions, and if not for ourselves, for others. So the idea is that even if a person is very exalted and knows everything before his superior, he should present questions. For instance, although Arjuna knew all the transcendental science, he questioned Krishna as if he didn't know. Similarly, Maharaj Prthu knew everything, but he presented himself before the Kumaras as if he didn't know anything. The idea is that questions by exalted persons put before the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotees are meant for the benefit of the general people. Therefore, sometimes great personalities put themselves in that position and inquire from a higher authority because they are always thinking of the benefit of the others. So that's the idea. And Sant Kumar said, constant thoughts of sense gratification disturbs the mind. So this is the situation that Maharaja Prthu was inquiring, obscuring one's original consciousness, which is eventually because becomes almost lost when you are thinking about sense gratification. Then your consciousness, real original consciousness, which is that you're a servant of Krishna or you should be doing service for Krishna, that is lost. It is like the reeds on the bank of a lake sucking up its water. In other words, by deviating from spiritual activities to pursue sense gratification, we forget our real identities as Krishna's parts and parcels and his servants. Then all our activities are based on a false sense of self. The wise call it losing one's soul. Because we start thinking we are this material body and forget about the spirit soul. We start thinking that we are the body and there's no spirit soul. Until we know that, then we think, well, this body, that's all we have, and when it's finished, everything's finished. So Sanat Kumar continued, my dear king, you already have an inclination to glorify the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such attachment is very difficult to achieve, but when one has attained such unflinching faith in the Lord, it automatically cleanses lusty desires from the cause of the heart. So how do we get rid of the sense gratification? By having faith in the Lord and getting attachment to the Lord by doing service for the Lord. So by association with devotees, dirty things within the heart of a materialistic man are gradually washed away by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the antidote is given that you associate with devotees. As silver becomes shiny by being polished, the heart of a materialistic person is cleansed of lusty desires by the good association of devotees. So association of devotees is compared to silver polish that makes the silver shine by cleaning all the dirt from it. That's a beautiful analogy. So the ocean of nescience is very difficult to cross. So Sanat Kumar continues, the ocean of nescience is very difficult to cross because it is infested with many dangerous sharks. Although those who are non-devotees undergo severe austerities and penances to cross the ocean, we recommend that you simply take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are like boats for crossing the ocean. Although this ocean is difficult to cross, by taking shelter of his lotus feet, you will overcome all dangers. So the Gyanis and the Yogis are not recommended here. Say be a bhakta, be a devotee, and then you can cross all these dangers. So Maharaja Prthu is therefore advised to take the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord to easily cross over all dangers. Dangerous elements in the universe are compared to sharks in the ocean. Even though one may be very expert swimmer, Srila Prabhupada says, that even though one may be very expert swimmer, he cannot possibly survive if he's attacked by sharks. Okay. So one often sees that many so-called swamis and yogis sometimes advertise themselves as competent to cross the ocean of nescience and to help others cross. But actually, they are found to be simply victims of their own senses. They have either already fallen or you find in due course that they fall down. Instead of helping their followers to cross the ocean of nescience, and such swamis yogis fall prey to Maya, represented by the fair sex woman, and are thus devoured by the sharks in that ocean. So, how can they help others when they can't even help themselves? So the king said, Maharaja Prthu said, O Brahman, O powerful one, formerly Lord Vishnu showed me his causeless mercy, indicating that you would come to my house and to confirm that blessing you have all come. When Lord Vishnu appeared in the great arena of sacrifice at the time when Maharaja Prthu was performing a great sacrifice, Ashwamedh Yagya, he predicted that the Kumaras would very soon come and advise the king. So Lord Vishnu already told the king, that's why he was expecting them. Therefore, Maharaja Prthu remembered the causeless mercy of the Lord and thus welcomed the arrival of the Kumaras who were fulfilling the Lord's prediction. So, He is a very exalted devotee to have that situation. So, my dear Brahman, you have carried out the order thoroughly because you are also as compassionate as the Lord. So, the king is saying to Sanat Kumar that obviously Lord Vishnu had asked you to come to my house and you have followed his instructions. Now, it is my duty, therefore, to offer you something. But all I have possess are but remnants of food taken by great saintly persons. What shall I give? Maharaj Prithu got his kingdom. So this was the thing, you see. So Maharaj Prithu got his kingdom from the great saintly persons like Brigu and others, just as one gets remnants of food. So he's comparing his kingdom to remnants of food. So he has prashad, he's taking his prashad, your blessings of the great saintly persons. Therefore, there were so many catastrophes occurring that the great saintly persons headed by Brigu created the body of King Prithu, Maharaj Prithu, out of the body of his dead father, King Vaina. So that's in the Bhagavatam that King Vaina, when he died, his body was churned and then Maharaj Prithu was born. So King Vaina, since King Prithu was thus offered the kingdom by the virtue of the mercy of great saintly persons, he didn't want to divide his kingdom among saints like the Kumaras. So when a father is eating food, he may, out of compassion, offer the remnants of his food to his son. Although such food may be already chewed by the father, it cannot be offered to the father again. So Maharaj Prithu's position was something like that. Whatever he possessed, he had already been chewed, and therefore he could not offer it to the Kumaras. Indirectly, however, he offered everything he possessed to the Kumaras, and consequently they utilized his possessions in whatever way they liked. And then the Kumaras smiled. Dear king, we are renunciants without even clothing. We have no desire for a kingdom and wealth. So turning to his minister, Maharaj Prithu asked his minister for Ganges water and a golden urn. So Maharaj Prithu cupped his hands and the minister filled them with water. Then he encircled his cup hands before the Kumaras brothers. And Ganges, so because Ganges comes from the Lord's feet, I offer this for your pleasure and pray that you may be satisfied with your own glorious acts of distributing transcendental knowledge. So the four boys each took little water in their right hands and uttering a prayer to the Ganges, sipped it. Being thus worshipped by Maharaj Prithu, the four Kumaras, who were masters of devotional service, became very pleased. Indeed, they appeared in the sky and praised the character of the king, and everyone observed them. So the Kumaras, however, praised the characteristics of Maharaj Prithu and his great devotional attitude and humility. The Kumaras were greatly satisfied by King Prithu's method of worship, and it was by the grace of Maharaj Prithu that the common citizens in his domain also saw the four Kumaras. So this is fantastic. So the Sanat Kumar explained that, okay, we have dirty things in the mind and our position is according to our previous birth, but we can do something about it. And how we do about it is by associating with real devotees, not bogus sadhus, etc., who can't even manage their own lives. So this is the situation, and would like a little discussion on this place. And it's nice to welcome all of you, Rukmani Mataji, Jai Prabhu, Mangat, Madhav Sham Sundar Prabhu. Okay, it's just sing your name, Prabhu. So saying according to that, Praveen Mataji, we have a Prem Prakash Prabhu, Sreshi Mataji, Venkat Prabhu, and our Venkat Partha Prabhu as well. So nice to have your association. And I promised Rukmani Mataji last week that she will go first this week. So Mataji, are you there?
Yeah.
Sureshi Mataji, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I am there. Yes, I am there, Prabhuji.
Okay, Sureshi Mataji, you can go next. Hanji, Rukmani Mataji.
Sorry?
Hanji, please go ahead.
I start?
Yes. Now tell me what you think about any realizations.
Oh, any question? Yes, Prabhuji, this
Questions
Pruthu
first.
Maharaj. Yes, Pruthu Maharaj met these four Kumaras.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, yes. And they explained everything to Pruthu Maharaj, and it's a very important for our life to
Yeah.
follow all these lessons.
Yes.
So we can worship Lord Krishna other than any material activities. So we have to learn so much from these instructions of four Kumaras. I love this lesson.
Thank you, Hanji. Yeah, very well. Hanji, Swashi Mataji, you like to make some
Hare, Hare
comments
Krishna.
already? Actually, have you?
Uh, these Kumaras, the four Kumaras, are Parampara spiritual masters of the Vaishnava Sampradaya.
Yeah.
They call Kumar Sampradaya. They were
Yeah.
born of Lord Brahma, but they wanted to remain brahmacharis through their life and engage fully in devotional service to Krishna.
Ji.
And they are one of the 12 of the Mahajanas.
Ah,
When Maharaj Prthu,
Hanji.
I mean, he was a perfect devotee,
Yeah.
and he was a Mahabhagavata. He knew everything about Bhagavad Dharma, but then, and he was empowered by Krishna. He got power of Krishna. And
Mhm.
then somebody said, why these people, they knew everything, and then why they want to know more about is why they want to uh, ask question about Krishna. And the reason is that they're not asking for themselves. They're asking for the other living entity.
Yes,
So
yes.
they know everything. And that to have a mercy on a living entity, they ask the question. And same like Maharaj Parikshit, he asked Sukdev Goswami for the benefit of the other people, that what should we do when what should people do when they're about to die? And because he knew everything about it, but it's for the benefit of others. So the question Maharaj Prithu asked was about he inquired from Kumaras about persons entangled in the material existence because of this previous karma, because we are all suffering because of our previous karma. So what should we do? What people should do? That's a very, very good question. How we can get free from our karma? And then the sages, they started answering the first attachment to Krishna. How can we get attached to Krishna? By hearing about him, by reading about him, then how you could get attached. And then after that, you must have faith. If you have no faith, you can't get attached to Krishna. And then, as you mentioned, is sense gratification. You have to get sense gratification, detachment. And how can you get, because you have to offer everything to Krishna, then how you get detachment. And then you have to take association and shelter of the pure devotees. By association you can learn. And then it's control of your senses and sense objects by taking Krishna Prasad. And then spiritual advancement, they say, without the material desire. If we have material desire, you can't get a spiritual advancement. So you don't have to have material desire. You have to have spiritual desire all the time. And in them, while I was reading Bhagavad Gita, I mean, this just same topic, Krishna says, 328, very nice sloka, tadvitu mahabaho, गुण कर्म विभागयो गुना गुणेषु वर्तता इति matya na sajjate. One who is in knowledge of the absolute truth, that means by attachment, Almighty armed, does not engage himself in the sense and sense gratification, knowing all the difference between work in devotion and work for fruitive activities. So you have to know what to do, what is good and what is not good. So you have to have main thing is a knowledge. Very, very important to know knowledge about Krishna and about the Shastras and all rules and regulation. If you have knowledge, then you know that you must do devotional service. You don't have to do fruitic activities. And that's what the sages, they mentioned to Prithu Maharaj. We already know what he wanted. Like
Yes.
devotees, even if we know, but we like to know again and again and again to make sure that we know very well. I
And
mean,
also,
sometimes, yeah.
we know where this information is coming. I mean, like Prabhupada gives us so much information on this, but from this we can tell where the information is coming from. See, this will be mentioned by the exalted devotees that what we should do, and then Prabhupada made written all these books with all that, the essence of all the knowledge. So that's and the proof is there that the exalted devotees mentioned these things to the Maharajas, the saintly kings, etc. So thank you, Mataji. Thank you for that.
Haribol.
Prem Prakash Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Prabhuji, I was not able to join last week, and since the schools have started, so it's becoming a bit difficult. Just in the same time, they goes to school. Right, Prabhuji. So, Saveshi Mataji has so exemplarily explained everything. Is that I haven't left anything to explain, but
That's good. That's good. That's a good thing, isn't it?
yeah, that's true. That's true. So I haven't got anything. But just one thing that stood out for me is that association of a pure devotee is like is movement's association with a pure devotee is very, very important. I mean, more important thing the entire kingdom or anything in the world, basically anything material that exists. So that's how Prthu Maharaj also signifies that. So that's what we should be doing, is to desire, to associate, make attempt, read knowledge, read about the things, inquire about the things from the pure devotees, and practice. So probably practice the devotional service. Probably these are the points which I would bring in from here and there from my little insignificant experience. But yeah, Saveshi Mataji have already explained everything. So
Sure. So the topic here is about sense gratification, isn't it? That's where everybody. This is what binds us to our material existence, sense gratification, and especially our association with the opposite gender, isn't it? That's what binds us. And then the Kumaras, they are experts, they're specialists in this topic. They know, and this is why they remain children, isn't it? So that it's always in the back of their mind that is top of their list, that don't get attached to the material world. And so naturally, Maharaj Prthu asked that particular question because he knows that they are the experts in this. That's why they remain children, because they know. So as soon as we become adults, we might fall into danger as well. So he asked them, well, everybody can't do what they did, is remain 5-year-olds. We can't do that. We end up in Gresta life. Sometimes we don't have any choice. Living in this material world, we have, we end up in Gresta life. And it's mentioned that Gresta life is very dangerous for somebody who wants to get out of this entanglement. There's a very good chance you will remain entangled and probably get further entangled than you already are. So he asked a very appropriate questions to the Kumaras, that, so you're okay, you managed to stay 5-year-olds, but what do we do as grown-ups? What do we do? And so they explained that, well, yeah, easy option is to remain 5-year-olds, which we did, but you can't do that. So, but this is your map, how to get out of this entanglement. So yeah, so thank you so much, Prabhu. So we got Praveen Mataji with us. Mataji, would like to add something?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes, it was excellent class. And like Prakash Prabhu said, like I can't pronounce Mataji's name. She's said so much beautifully. And for me, yes, devotional service without any material attachments. I'm working on it. And now recently we've learned the shloka Anya Bhilashita Shunyam Gyan Karmadi Anavratam Anukulen Krishnanu Shilanam Bhakti Uttama. So yeah, I'm learning what is devotional service, but having children and all the responsibilities, that is like making it difficult sometime. But it was very nice, and I really liked your style, Prabhuji, how you narrated the story. So yeah, thank you. And I need all your blessings
Yeah.
to be in the mode of goodness. So
Well, let's all help each other. This is the idea of having this Bhagavatam class in the morning, because I am
yes,
also learning from this. Is why I'm asking questions as well, because
yeah,
I also want to learn, and we
yeah,
can together we can learn, because we all have our different ways of thinking. We have different realizations, and we
yes,
realize from each other and try to understand collectively. We'll make
yes,
more progress. See,
yeah. So Prabhuji, sorry, because it's my first time. So which canto you're doing and which chapter you're on now?
Mataji, I am going here, there, everywhere, just trying to find
Okay,
some interesting stories. This is from
okay,
4.1, and next time we'll be talking about something else. So
okay. Yeah, no, that's
I'm just
fine.
trying to
Yeah,
find something that we can all associate with and discuss it basically.
yeah, yes. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. And we'll do some chanting in a minute. Anybody else? Jai Prabhu, you have anything to add?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. I mean, all the points have really been made, but I think the key learning point is one should detach from the bodily concept of life, away from material desires. And the way to do this is to attach oneself to Krishna. I mean, through devotional service, inquiring about the Lord, hearing, chanting, and worshipping about the glories of the Lord. So I think that's a key learning point. Everything else has been said.
Sure.
The other thing is I'll leave my email message for you, so you can send that a recording.
Yeah, yes,
In
sure.
the chat box.
Yeah.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
And Anji, Madhav Shamsundar Prabhu, finally, would you like to say something?
Haribol Prabhuji. No, thank you very much. Very nice class. Like the devotee said, Sarveshi Mataji explained everything.
Yes.
So all I can say, it was a very nice pastime. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Rahul. Please keep associating. Thank you so much. Okay.
I will.
So before we start chanting, next week we're talking about Lord Shiva instructing the prachetas. So that's also very interesting instructions there. We'll discuss them. And after that, I've got some really good classes coming up after that as well. So please keep giving the association. This Sunday we have Sutapa Prabhu, and his class is going to be on instant happiness versus inner happiness. And he was asking me what class we should give, and I said something to do with purification. So that will be really interesting. Sutapa Prabhu gives a wonderful class. So I'm really looking forward to that. So that's great. Now today with the chanting, we're doing 2 rounds. So Reshi Mataji, we thought you can chant 1 round and Rukmani Mataji can chant 1 round. So it just makes it easier for you as well. And we get more association this way. So who would like to go first? Okay, Rukmani Mataji, would you want to go first? Are you there? Okay, I think we have Sarveshi Mataji. Okay, Mataji, then you start, yeah?
Okay.
So do 1 round, and then Rukmani Mataji can do 1 round as well.
All right.
Yeah, 2 rounds becomes too much because you have to shout and everything. I find that difficult myself. So thank you, Mataji. Okay.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namne Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Picharane Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschata Desatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasti Gaura Bhakta Binda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Rukmini Mataji, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay.
I'm starting. Second round.
Yes, please.
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Second round.
Jaldi, nahi Madhuri, one round is enough.
Yes.
Yes, and I think we still have a bit of round left.
Oh, we left how many? Okay, I'm doing Hare Krishna. Hare. How many left? Hare Krishna.
I think about 3 minutes more.
Oh, Hare Krishna.
I'll tell you anyway when it's finished. Okay, carry on.
I'm finishing. Yes. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare.